Spain to extend coronavirus state of emergency as death soar. Spain plans to extend its state of emergency for another 15 days, Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez announced Sunday, as the number of COVID-19 deaths soars in the country. Sanchez addressed citizens in a televised briefing on Sunday after meeting with health and security officials. He said he expected Parliament to approve his request to lengthen the order, which has been in place for over a week. It comes with the country's death toll from the virus accelerating. The country's health ministry said on Sunday that another 394 had died in just the past 24 hours, bringing the total number of confirmed fatalities to 1720. But Fernando Simon, director of the Spanish Coordinating Center for Health Alerts and Emergencies, sounded a note of cautious optimism Sunday. "We are approaching the period in which perhaps, if we are lucky, we will turn the curve, stabilize and it'll start to go down," Simon said in a press briefing on Sunday. "The models indicate that we are not very far away, but relaxing the measures prematurely would mean starting again, and we have to be very careful." Like many major countries in Europe, Spain is following the path of Italy, with cases accelerating and draconian measures put in place to keep citizens away from public places. Emergency hospitals have been set up across the country, while residents have been ordered to stay indoors, apart from for essential trips, and normally busy streets are deserted. The country's health ministry said on Sunday that another 394 had died in the past 24 hours, bringing the total number of confirmed fatalities to 1720. "There are hard days ahead," Sanchez said in a televised briefing on Saturday. "We have to get ready from a physiological and emotional standpoint. We have to get to the end of next week strong, very strong. The risk is everywhere." Almost 25,000 cases have been reported in total, with a drastic spike of 5,000 new cases reported on Saturday. "Spain is among the most affected countries in Europe and in the world," Sanchez said on Saturday, adding that the worst is still to come. In an effort to strengthen Spain's response to the health crisis, Sanchez announced the national production of masks, ventilators and tests. Meanwhile, the government has bought 640,000 reliable ratified fast tests, which will soon be 1 million, and within the next few hours, 1.3 million masks will be handed to health personnel and patients, Sanchez said. A single sunbather remains following the closure of Bondi Beach in Sydney, Australia, on March 21. A cleric prays in an empty mosque in Baghdad, Iraq, on March 20. Light traffic moves along a freeway in downtown Los Angeles on March 20. The Panathenaic Stadium is nearly empty during an Olympic flame ceremony in Athens, Greece, on March 19. People walk along the Las Vegas Strip on March 18 after casinos were ordered to shut down. Police officers patrol the empty Trocadero Plaza next to the Eiffel Tower in Paris on March 17. A woman in New York walks through a lightly trafficked Times Square on March 16. The Seattle Times newsroom is empty on March 12. Employees have been working remotely. A musician plays the violin on March 17 at a train station in Kiev, Ukraine. The parking lot is nearly empty at the Village Shopping Mall in Corte Madera, California, on March 17. An empty subway train is seen in New York on March 17. A couple in Barcelona, Spain, embraces in Catalunya Square on March 15. Pope Francis delivers his blessing to an empty St. Peter's Square at the Vatican on March 15. Alianza Lima and Racing Club play a professional soccer match in an empty stadium in Buenos Aires, Argentina, on March 12. California Street, usually filled with San Francisco's iconic cable cars, is seen mostly empty on March 17. San Francisco was eerily quiet after an order to shelter in place went into effect at midnight. Music stands are placed in front of empty audience seats at the Konzerthaus in Dortmund, Germany, on March 12. No public events will take place at the venue until at least April 15. The rotunda at the U.S. Capitol is empty after the last tour group passed through on March 12. All public tours have been suspended until the end of March. The Oculus transportation hub in New York was mostly devoid of commuters and tourists on March 15. Stacked furniture is seen inside the closed Café de Flore in Paris on March 15. The visitors' locker room is empty after an NHL game in Washington on March 12. The league later announced that it has suspended its season. A bullfighting arena is empty on March 11 after events were suspended in South Korea's Cheongdo County. A teacher walks in an empty public school in Labastida, Spain, on March 11. An empty passenger compartment on a train traveling from Shinjuku to Hakone in Japan on March 3. Empty chairs are lined up at the Vatican before the Pope's Sunday Angelus prayer was streamed via video on March 8. He later appeared briefly at the window to bless a small number of people gathered in St. Peter's Square. This aerial photo shows the empty Legend Siam theme park in Pattaya, Thailand, on March 8. Senior Pastor Troy Dobbs speaks to empty pews during a service March 15 at the Grace Church in Eden Prairie, Minnesota. The church presented a sermon and worship music to an estimated 3,500 online viewers. Restaurant seats stand empty in Covent Garden in London on March 13. Basketball fans in Oklahoma City leave the arena after it was announced that the NBA game between the Oklahoma City Thunder and the Utah Jazz was cancelled on March 11. The league suspended their season a short time later after confirming that one of the Jazz players tested positive for the coronavirus. The Kaaba in the Grand Mosque, Islam's holiest site, is normally surrounded by people in Mecca, Saudi Arabia. But it was nearly empty on March 6. A passenger walks in the empty check-in area of the Beijing Daxing International Airport on March 3. An empty movie theater in Kochi, India, on March 11. A hall is empty inside a train station in Jerusalem on March 11. This aerial photo shows an empty street in Wuhan, China, on February 16. The novel coronavirus is believed to have started at a wildlife market in Wuhan. Ancient Roman ruins, normally filled with tourists, are empty on March 10. All of Italy was put on lockdown as coronavirus cases continue to spread in the country. The reflection of conductor Mate Hamori is seen as he conducts the Danubia Orchestra without an audience at the Liszt Ferenc Academy of Music in Budapest, Hungary, on March 13. Seats in the Peoria Sports Complex are empty in Peoria, Arizona, on March 12. Major League Baseball canceled the rest of spring training and pushed back the start of the regular season. The Missouri Senate chamber sits empty on March 12 after senators adjourned for the day and announced they would not reconvene in a full session until at least March 30. Empty seats at the Suvarnabhumi Airport in Bangkok, Thailand, on March 12. An inside view of the European Parliament building in Brussels, Belgium, on March 11. More than 100 programs in the building were cancelled. Amazon's headquarters in Seattle was virtually empty on March 10. Amazon recommended employees there to work from home. The National Theatre in Prague, Czech Republic, on March 10. The Czech government banned events hosting more than 100 people. Seats are unoccupied at a professional soccer match in Mönchengladbach, Germany, on March 11. The ghost match was played without fans. Just a few people are seen inside the Milan Cathedral in Milan, Italy, on March 4. It had reopened to the public after a week of closure. Streets, restaurants and cafes are closed inside a 1-mile containment zone in New Rochelle, New York, on March 11. The Louvre Museum in Paris was shut down on March 1. Empty chairs are seen on a beach in Phuket, Thailand, on March 11. Staff members walk inside the Venetian Macau after it closed its casino on February 5. Lights remain on inside an empty classroom at the Sapienza University of Rome on March 4. Horses gallop past empty public stands at the Sha Tin racecourse in Hong Kong on February 23. A delivery worker wearing a face mask walks at a nearly empty shopping mall in Beijing on February 27. Click subscribe to receive the latest news.